Good morning. It's Saturday morning. We've made it to chapter 16 of Acts, and we're going to read verses 1 through 5. Paul came also to Derbe and to Lystra. A disciple was there named Timothy, the son of a Jewish woman who was a believer, but his father was a Greek. He was well spoken of by the brothers at Lystra and Iconium. Paul wanted Timothy to accompany him, and he took him and circumcised him because of the Jews who were in those places, for they all knew that his father was a Greek. As they went on their way through the cities, they delivered to them for observance the decisions that had been reached by the apostles and elders who were in Jerusalem. So the churches were strengthened in the faith, and they increased in numbers daily. So here we see a little bit of Paul's strategy. Now, Paul is going around delivering the letter from the church in the Council of Jerusalem, right? Had those four things that they expected everybody to agree to. And so he's delivering this letter, which essentially says, you know, you want to obey the core of the Jewish law without being all that strict about it, but not eat things that have been strangled or things that are still full of blood, and you want to refrain from immorality, sexual immorality, and you want to what was the fourth one? Come on. Stay away from idols. So, essentially, sort of the core of the Jewish thought without all the details. And it doesn't say a word about circumcision, which had been the original complaint. So Paul meets Timothy and likes Timothy, but realizes that Timothy's father is a Greek, and so he hasn't been circumcised, and this is going to be a problem. And so in a very pragmatic way that reveals something to us about his thinking, Paul circumcises Timothy, which can't have been much fun for Timothy, but was necessary. And he does this so that no one can point at Timothy and complain. He's not circumcised. Paul wants to say, hey, he underwent this voluntarily, so that you would believe his testimony. So Paul is not above, when he's in Rome, he's a Roman, and when he's in Greece, he's a Greek, and, just changing the, the outward approach to things based on the community that he's talking to. So, for instance, then he will tell the Corinthians to tighten up, and he'll tell the Galatians, hey, you need to loosen up. And those messages are told that way so that each group hears what it needs to hear and gets the gospel straight. So there's kind of a core to Paul's teaching, and then the context can shift for the things that are less important. It's kind of that way for us. The gospel has a core about following Jesus and believing that he's the Son of God, and the context of that then changes in every direction. Long ago, a fellow said to me, you don't need to be I think he said you don't need to be an evangelical, but you need to learn how to speak their language, even if you don't mean the same things by the words that they mean. And that's been kind of helpful. Now we've got all these people out there doing all kinds of weird things with Christian faith, and we really need to be able to say, hey, no, this is what we believe. We don't believe that stuff, and this is what we're going to do. But it's difficult, to maintain the core in the different contexts. I realize that. But Um, what I want you to see is that Christianity is not this one monolithic thing that you either believe or don't believe. It's much more like a core belief that is interpreted in different ways according to the circumstances around you. And that is not situational ethics, because the core is what drives it, not the context. But it is a contextual ethic, and I think it's consonant with what Paul does and what Paul believes. So take that today and ponder that and see if it makes any sense. And we will see you again on Monday.